when Ann Branson's lifeless body is found at the bottom of her basement stairs.
We could see the wound marks in her shirt and the blood on her, and we knew that it wasn't natural causes.
The discovery shakes the small town of Madisonville, Kentucky, to the very core.
It's just like a game of Clue. Did Mr. Plum do it with a candlestick in the library?
And the citizens here will learn there are a lot more skeletons in the cupboards than bricks on Main Street.
Everyone was a suspect in this case except for me, because I knew where I was on January 12th.
How well do you know your neighbors? As mourners gather to pay their last respects to one of Madisonville, Kentucky's founding mothers, Ann Branson's nephew, Jack, can't help but wonder who killed her.
From the day after Ann's murder, Jack began to piece the puzzle of the murder together.
And Jack's not the only one.
I was totally shocked by the brutality of the murder. It's not every day that you see an elderly woman, a pillar of the Madisonville community, beat and stabbed that bad.
Kentucky State Police Trooper Ben Walcott approaches his work like he approaches his golf game.
There are some similarities, in my opinion, between the two because you don't rush to judgment. You commit to a shot or you commit to a theory in your investigations, and you follow that out to the best of your knowledge.
Madisonville police reach out to Walcott to assist with Ann's homicide.
With our criminal lab, in my experience, it wasn't about the Madisonville Police Department versus the Kentucky State Police. This was a team of dedicated detectives from different agencies trying to solve this case.
At autopsy, the medical examiner counts over 90 stab wounds.
There's a tremendous amount of overkill to this body. Her skull was crushed from behind. She had defensive marks on her body where she tried to fight her attacker off. To inflict that much damage on a body, that's not a typical homicide. This is somebody that was enraged. They snapped.
The ME makes a note of the size and shape of the weapons used to compare to if a murder weapon is eventually found. The autopsy also proves useful in establishing a timeline of events for the night Ann was murdered.
We were able to ascertain an estimate of her death, time of death. We were able to put her at church that night, and when she came home from church, she ate some supper, and through the autopsy was able to ascertain the rate of absorption for the food in her stomach.
Time of death is between 7 and 7:30 p.m. on the night of January 12th, 2003.
Of course, that's important to us as investigators because then we're looking for suspects who don't have alibis for that specific time frame.
Speculating that Ann knew her killer, investigators start the painful task of questioning Ann's close friends and family.
What kind of person do I think stabs an 85-year-old woman 97 times? Someone who's attached to the person. When you get a case like this, it's like a large puzzle, and you're putting pieces together, and you don't know where the pieces are.
The Winstead-Branson clan is fairly large, so it will take investigators a while to eliminate each one by one.
At the point that we started questioning members of the family, all of them were cooperative.
Ann's housekeeper is also cleared, but she provides police with a suspect of her own, Ann's handyman, Felix Bodwin.
She suspected that the handyman might have involvement with the murder because he had been doing money transactions with her and had actually not been able to pay her back a certain amount of money.
And the handyman was very angry that he had said before that he could kill Ann.
A background check reveals that Felix Bodwin has been under the long arm of the law before.
The handyman did have a criminal history, so he's obviously somebody that we wanted to look at.
But a state law halts the investigation.
He couldn't take a polygraph examination based on a heart condition that he had, so that wasn't a part of the evidence that we could use for or against him.
Bodwin claims to have a solid alibi. He was out of town the night Ann was murdered.
We were able to verify that he wasn't in Madisonville.
I did not think that the handyman was the suspect that we were looking for one specific reason. He was a frail gentleman. And then you look at the amount of damage that Anna Mae Branson had to her body, he's in no shape or form to be able to do that amount of damage.
Felix Bodwin is fully cleared as a person of interest.
There was multiple people that were brought to our attention throughout this investigation that we had to follow up on and eliminate as potential suspects.